Welcome everybody to another Wildrose podcast. This one, I'm not sure what to call the actual topic. It's not. I guess not. It's probably primarily Xbox focused, but I'd also like to just talk about our thoughts on what's been shown for next gen in general at this point. But I haven't decided if this will air on the Tuesday or the Thursday yet, depending on how quickly my potato of a computer can render everything. But we're recording this on the fuck is today? Saturday the 25th, and this will probably go up on Tuesday or Thursday next week. I'm hoping Tuesday, but we'll see. And we just on last Thursday saw the Xbox game event thing. I don't know who to start with. Rob, what did you think?
Oh God!
You're the outlier. You're not loyal to. Well, none of us are loyal to anybody, but you're the you're the not a huge AAA guy. So it's interesting to me to get your hot take on these types of events.
I don't know. It seemed like kind of a pretty standard AAA presentation. Like, I mean, there was a few games that looked cool. They showed off like some technical stuff that means nothing to me. I've got notes somewhere around here.
Oh, good. I'm glad somebody has notes. I wanted to watch it again and take more detailed notes so that I could have like a really strong conversation going in my head, so I'd be prepped and ready to go. And I ran out of time. I've been really busy the past couple days.
Yeah, I've mostly like just got notes on like individual games from the presentation.
I was surprised to see a new Rare game that looked kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that so often these game companies, they do these big presentations and they come up with something like Everwild, which was the Rare game.
Mm-hmm.
And like it looks super atmospheric, looks like a great environment. I'm really excited to see what the actual game is, because they didn't show any of the game.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why we're not even telling people like, oh, this game's going to be like a third-person action adventure. If you want to make a movie, then great, you can use that trailer, but it's like, you wouldn't advertise a movie by like, oh, here's one of the songs from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I'm interested that there's Stalker 2. Because that's a game that, like, Stalker is a game that I really wanted to get into, and I still really want to play it. But I've like watched shit about it.
It was a Stalker one.
It's actually like I've watched it about. I've played a little bit of the game here and there, and just been a general lore nerd about it. And so when I heard Stalker 2, I was just like, Jesus Christ, it's a long time after the first one came out. But also, it's a good game, so I'm curious as to how it goes. I wonder if they'll still have like the whole, hey, there's the you can find and like power yourself up, but also negative, so you balance out the negatives and shit can get crazy. Because
I know nothing about Stalker. Is it like a first-person shooter or what is it?
Yeah, think Fallout. It's just in the it's in Russia. Yeah, and
So,
there's
like Metro?
these. Yeah, it's like Metro Fallout. There's like these weird like relics and things that are causing like basically you're like in a Fallout zone. I don't think the entire world is Fallout. After it's been a long time. There's like these weird artifacts and like anomalies that are happening in the place, and like you can collect them, and they do weird things to like people. Like one lets you reach, also gives you like radiation and kind of stuff like that. So it's an interesting series. Really want to play it. It's a very old game though. So Stalker 2, that surprised me. It's been a while, and I'm hoping And I'm hoping this motivates me to actually play the first one. That's what I'm hoping for. And also Warhammer, a new Warhammer game. That's okay. Pretty okay. Let's do it.
Did either of you guys watch the Game Awards channel's pre-show?
No, I did. All I know about it is just like the one text that you sent me about it.
Well, there was a couple it set a weird precedent for me because there was a couple of game reveals in it for games coming to Xbox, and because I watched the pre-show, I sort of lump it in with the presentation, but they weren't technically a part of the presentation, but there was some really good announcements in there. And I only reason I bring it up is because there was someone online I saw earlier today was talking about how the pre-show set them up for having a letdown with the Xbox event, because they were like, oh my god, these are some great announcements, and these are what didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
So it was just interesting to me that Microsoft had partnered with Jeff Keighley to do this pre-show, and there was some pretty big announcements. Like, for the first time ever, Dragon Quest is coming to an Xbox platform. And the big game that stood out to me was Balan Wonderworld, and it just looks super cool. I'm super jazzed about it. It looks like a spiritual successor to Nights into Dreams.
I mean, it is made by the same, I think, I don't know if Yuji Naka is technically like lead programmer, director, whatever, but like he is sort of the guy. He's the Knights guy.
The Knights guy. But yeah, there were a couple of games in that pre-show that I was surprised. Like, why wasn't that in the main event? There were a lot of games in the main show that I just don't give a shit about too, that I've more or less already forgotten about. Like, the only reason I remember this one is because I was surprised. I was surprised to see Destiny 2 coming, because it feels weird that there's like this big hype event for what's coming to next gen systems, and it's like
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2. It's okay, we have already have Destiny 2. I don't care.
Well, but I mean, like, there's always an element of that early in any generation, especially with something like Destiny 2, where it is like one of those sort of games as a service kind of things. Like, yeah, of course they'd want to keep that going on the new consoles.
That is true.
It feels odd for one that's supposed to be like about the next gen. That's like his previous. But I can see why.
Like, I guess what I'm saying is what I would have rather Destiny 2 been in the pre-show and Balan Wonderworld being in the main show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I want to see if we can talk about the other stuff before we talk about the first announcement and the last announcement. Because once we start talking about those two titles, it's just going to go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
There was a game that looked really cool to me in here, and it was technically in their May showcase, I believe. The fuck is it called? Hopefully Rob has the name written down. It was like it was like a horror game, but you had two worlds.
With like the two different perspectives?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looked really cool. That was the Medium.
Medium, yeah. Yeah, Medium, I'm very excited to see what that one's about. I'm curious if the two different perspectives are going to happen at the same time.
Yeah, like it seemed like there was parts where they were happening at the same time.
I just think that would be
where they were separate.
The way I envision it, and I don't want to create a false hype or something here, but this is just how my impression of it is, how it'll work, is I picture it as like how what's that game now called? The co-op game you and I played where you're breaking out A Way Out.
A Way Out, yeah.
I picture the camera being similar to how A Way Out works, but the character model of the character on both sides moves universally just with your controller, like it's 1-to-1, right? Mm-hmm. But I picture it as you always see both worlds, but obstacles in one will still affect the other. Like, I'm imagining, say, a mansion, or say a hospital, because that's a good horror trope. I'm imagining a hospital where on the left side, it's a hallway, it's a normal hospital full of crowded hallway and people and doctors and whatever. But on the right side of the screen, let's just say in the horror version, there's it's like a hospital from hell, and there's a demon chasing you. So you have to run away from the demon, but to the perspective of the NPCs that's in like a normal world, you're just some crazy person running through this hallway. But if you run into a dolly or something or trip on a person on the left side, the character on the right side will still trip and fall. So you have to micromanage all the obstacles on both sides. That's the way I envision it. And if that's how it goes, I'm very excited. That is so cool.
Yeah, there's like that aspect of it, and even just the aesthetic of, especially like, I guess, sort of the spirit world. Like there's just something really atmospheric about it. I'm really interested in what exactly that game's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was teased in their May event, but it was just like a cinematic trailer.
Mm.
Which this one was mostly of too, but there were a couple of shots where you could tell it was gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could just tell because you can. Usually, cinematic trailers will go out of their way to have cinematic angles. So even though it's a part of a cinematic trailer, when you see that like typical third-person adventure game camera angle, you can almost guarantee it's a gameplay clip that they used.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with cinematic trailers as long as they at least execute the premise of what the game is. And that's my problem with like what we were already talking about with Everwild, I think. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with other Everwild, because I watch it and it's like, oh man, that's such a beautiful world. That's such a cool. I'm happy to see Rare doing stuff like that again. But what is it? Like, is it going to be similar to Kenna Bridge of Spirits on PlayStation? Because that would be awesome. I'm super excited for that game. But I have no concept of what it is, and that's what my big complaint with cinematic trailers is I guess it's the same as Rob's. Is I want them to at least convey what the game is.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't do that most of the time.
Yeah, like I don't mind a cinematic trailer for, if say they're releasing a new Assassin's Creed game or whatever. Sure, do a cinematic trailer for that. We all know what Assassin's Creed is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it's like a completely new IP that it's like, okay, well, you've told me nothing about the actual medium that this is in.
Yeah.
What were some other you've got notes, Rob? What were some other standouts?
Let's see, just going in like sort of chronological order. Obsidian showed off some cool stuff.
Yes, okay, I'm glad you mentioned Obsidian.
Yeah.
I
have an expansion for Outer Worlds coming out.
There's a cool looking expansion for Outer Worlds. They have a really awesome looking little indie, it looks like probably a tower defense game. And I thought this was kind of hilarious. It looks like they're not just taking on Bethesda in the realm of Fallout, they're going to take on Bethesda in the realm of Elder Scrolls, because they've got, I think it was called Awoken or something.
Avowed.
Avowed. They're making their own open world RPG series. And we didn't really see much. We just saw sort of like the first person perspective of who knows if that's how the game starts or what. We have no idea, but it's I'm excited. The reason why I was excited, you brought up Obsidian. I have this gut feeling Obsidian is going to become the next Bungie for Microsoft. I think buying Obsidian is going to be one of the best decisions they've ever made. I think Obsidian is going to continue to pump out new original and expansive games that are going to be exclusive to Microsoft and PC, and they're going to be one of the developing companies that are going to help push that brand forward. I just have this gut feeling that Obsidian is going to become one of their A-team developers.
I sure hope so. I still actually got to play or need to play Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds is very simple, but I loved it. Like it's everything good about Fallout with none of the bad. And the thing is, if you've played Fallout and you've played Mass Effect, kind of mash the two concepts together, and that's what you get is the Outer World. So it doesn't really do anything new, but it does what's old
solid.
so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love for them to take on Bethesda and make Bethesda get their fucking back on or whatever, fucking pull up their pants and actually work. Because fucking hell, Bethesda has just been so lacking the last little bit. Like I actually did like Fallout 4, but after that it's literally been like, oh, okay. Just fucking train wreck.
I'm curious how long you think it'll be until Skyrim gets ported to its third console generation.
Oh, it's not going to take very long. It'll be probably like a year and they'll be like, Skyrim's on the Xbox One.
Skyrim Deluxe Definitive Edition.
Fucking. Oh boy.
Now with Master Chief armor.
That's crazy. I'm pretty sure there's actually already a mod for that.
Oh, I'm sure there's a mod for it.
Oh, definitely.
Now with even more glitches.
There's a mod to put Garfield in Skyrim.
There was one that was ridiculous, was like a Warhammer 40k armor pack, and you just look like a fucking giant walking through these things. It's like, why would you even? I could see like Warhammer fantasy stuff, but like some shit just gets ridiculous in Skyrim, and it's beautiful. Like Thomas the Tank Engine, that's a classic.
But yeah, going back to your point about like Obsidian kind of becoming the new Bungie, I think all the trailers, like they just look like they're going about this whole partnership exactly the right way. Like they're kind of keeping that same like cult classic mindset, but now they just have the resources to go really big and do something ambitious like Avowed.
Mm-hmm. I loved in the what was their little tower defense game with the kids? What was that called?
That was Grounded.
Grounded. Yeah, I loved the heart in that trailer. I loved that it built itself up and then knocked itself down with, do you want to play the biggest game this year? Then go play Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
But if you want to play the smallest game this year, I love it when they're self-aware like that. And I think there's no way to look bad in that situation. And I liked that they acknowledged it. I also noticed during that trailer, I'm curious if there was more than just the one like Microsoft reference, but I noticed in that trailer there was a Battletoad.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, it looked interesting. I think it's a tower defense game where you probably build a fort and bugs attack you. That's my impression of it.
Yeah,
you know
I get
There's a game series. Don't know. Because I'm going to lead off to something else. Go for it, Rob.
All right, flip the coin. All right. Yeah, I didn't get the impression it was like strictly tower defense, but yeah, there is definitely like some kind of survival element to it.
I'm wondering if you're just like kids in the backyard and there's like a Honey, We Shrunk the Kids situation or something.
It seems that way.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of looking like. There is a game, and that I really loved, and I keep on hoping, staring at like new reveals, that maybe, just maybe, it'll pop up again. But I've been recently doing another run through of it, and I just started. But Sanctum 2 is a really good series. Whenever I hear someone say, "Oh, there's a new tower defense coming," I'm just like, "Could it be?" And then no. But I'm excited. It looks like a weird, like, kind of Fallout 4, like, town building mixed with shit's going to happen, so you have to, like, tower defend it kind of deal. Because, like, they're building, like, a house and everything. So,
yeah, the only reason I think they're maybe they did show just straight up crafting, I don't remember, but the only reason I feel like it's tower defense is just because I did see structures that looked like, oh, they took, like, bottle caps and made a fence and stuff like that. Like that's just my impression of like maybe it's find the garbage in your backyard and build a fort out of it kind of thing.
Oh my fucking balls. Yeah. But God, every time someone says, "Hey, new tower defense game," I'm just like, could it be Sanctum 3? No, never is.
See, I loved Sanctum 2 back when it came out, and I played it with you and Connor, but I was the only pleb that had a job at the time. So one day I went to work, and when I came home from work, you and Connor had like beaten the entire game.
I'm a bitch.
So
you know what?
now
I would absolutely love to do a Sanctum because I just started a run. So if you ever want to do a run of Sanctum, I'll definitely do it with you. I have the DLC, and if I have the DLC, you can play the DLC. So I have all of them. We can
that's awesome.
Yeah. That's one of those companies that's just like, hey, if one person has it, everybody can play. So if we can do
Imagine if that was if one person in the earth buys it, everybody gets it.
Yeah, I know, right? How sweet would that be? No, but like honestly, I just started a run. If you want to be like, hey Nathan, I'll be like, I'll just fuck my run. Let's do this again, bro. I've just started. I'm down for it. I love Sanctum too. It's a fun game.
Okay. What else, Rob? What else do you have in your notes?
God.
After my go through Sanctum 2.
I don't have much to say about it just because like I never played the first game, but Psychonauts 2 is pretty big for it. I can't remember. I feel like it was heavily rumored that Psychonauts 2 was coming out, but I don't remember if it actually got announced before this.
Oh, it was. It was successfully kickstarted a couple of years ago. But then Microsoft bought the development studio, and the game was supposed to like come out that year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, and they just kind of.
But then they said, well, now that we have Microsoft's backing and Microsoft wants to publish it, there was like all kinds of content that they just accepted they wouldn't be able to do on the Kickstarter budget. But with Microsoft's financial backing, they were like, we know we promised the game this year, but we're going to go like back to the drawing board and like make the game we really wanted to make in the first place that we hope everybody would like. So it's finally coming out this year, I guess.
I'm actually totally down for that because there's been companies that they'll do a Kickstarter and then they'll get like something will be bought or financed by a bigger company and be like, hey, well, here's just the shit. Like, here's the shit that we're working on. Go have it. We'll take all the money from this. So I'm actually totally down for a company that's like, wow, someone's actually financing this now. We'll just throw in everything else that you guys or that we couldn't do beforehand, and we'll just give you a newer game down the line. I'm totally down for that. Like more content, I will never be angry over. Especially because a lot of games lately just feel like they've been lacking content.
Well, like I even just outside of the context of like, oh, we've got a new investor now. Like, I wish more companies would just say like, hey, this isn't real. Like this thing works, but it's just not in a state where it's exactly what we want to put out. So we're going to take some more time. Like, delay. I have no problem at all with that.
There's one game I'm also. It wasn't announced, but I'm really looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah, that is coming out.
Because it's made. I absolutely love the people it's working on. Because Divinity Original Sin 2 are like some of my most favorite games ever made. They're so good. And especially in Original Sin 2, Lawrence Studios was just like, hey, not only are we making a game, but they implemented our Game Master mode, so someone can literally GM their own game. They're just GMing just in a game. It's amazing, and you make your own like maps and your own encounters and all that. So I'm so excited to see if they put that into Baldur's Gate 3, so I can literally be like, hey, I can run a 5e campaign just fucking doing shit on my computer. I mean, I already do that, but I could do it in a video game now. We have the visuals. I have to go look for fucking portraits to use as like icons and shit like that. I am excited to see what that game will turn into, but I don't think that's a Xbox exclusive. They'll probably release on the Xbox because they did that with Divinity Original Sin 2. But
I think that's on the Switch too. I might be. I'm thinking is it?
Yeah,
it might be.
Okay.
They released a
definitely-
few of those, like, sort of cult classic RPGs. Like, I think they did Divinity, Baldur's Gate, and Planescape.
Yeah, Divinity. I think they only released a Divinity on there because Divinity Original Sin 2 is like I think it's a long time before Divinity.
Here, my Switch is like 5 feet away. I'll check.
Yeah, okay. Do that. Divinity Original Sin is like one of those like sequel prequels. Like it's supposed to happen like thousands of years before the events of Divinity. But it's also like fucking fantastic. So I still I have Divinity 2. I just haven't played them. I've just been playing so much Divinity Original Sin and Original Sin 2.
So they only released Divinity Original Sin 2 and not, I guess, the first Divinity on Switch.
Which is fair.
I mean that's the one I always hear people talking about.
Yeah. I mean, Divinity Original Sin 2, in my opinion, it's a little bit odd because that one is definitely the better game. I love that one a lot more than Divinity Original Sin. But Divinity Original Sin is still a very solid game that I enjoy. It's just like, I don't know. They still had some of their, like, Divinity Original Sin was a lot of, like, dark humor. And, like, a lot of just, like, shooting the shit. Divinity Original Sin 2, they made it more serious, but they still kept aspects of it in. And I think what annoyed me in the first one, because like I only played it once or twice, and it started to get a little bit annoying with just how like flippant shit was. But they really balanced it out like a lot better in the second one, where you only get like hints of it, but enough that it'll break up tension pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good game, and I'm good to see what they do with Baldur's Gate 3, because that's a series I love, and I haven't played in ages. I don't even have it. I think I had like the disc that a friend gave me from like when I was like 10. Fucking go find it. Yeah, I'm pumped. There's actually a number of games I'm really looking forward to in the next generation, though. I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. And then also other games, I'm just like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This game is coming for me.
Oh no. It's more nervousness of like, what are they going to do with this series? Like, Elder Scrolls, whenever it fucking comes out, it's one of those games I'm just like, I'm so excited for an Elder Scrolls game, but at the same time it's like, fuck. Looking at like or Fallout Online, whatever it was, I can't remember anymore.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, sorry, it was such a hectic game, I blocked it from my memory. Fallout 76, like staring at that and then looking at the new Elder Scrolls, I'm just like, oh no. I want it, but at the same time I'm scared.
Todd Howard's gonna come in my bedroom and make me play.
Every night I lock my doors in case Todd Howard breaks into my room and downloads Fallout's computer.
But see, that's also something that could be like, imagine if Obsidian becomes the next Bethesda.
I know, and
for
that's
those.
why I totally didn't like see the Avowed trailer. I think I had to go make dinner when it happened, and I didn't watch it. Or just like, oh my god, this game looks like Elder Scrolls. I'm just like, oh, I am excited. Fucking demon voice, yes. That's my spiel. All right, is it the big boy time? Or
it might be. I'm trying to think if there was something else.
The only like other
rant
thing
for a while. The other, I probably will have a bit of a less rant, but still a rant. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the only other thing I really had written down here, which like I actually very quickly debunked, was seeing that like that Tetris Effect is coming out. I kind of wondered if maybe they were going to try and do VR on the Series X. And it seems like they haven't like completely what's the word I'm looking for?
Pretty sure it could handle it.
it could definitely handle it, but
It's just like they've said, it's not where their focus is right now. They
My-
don't think
my-
there's much
It
of a
might be
market.
something that comes later down the road, because I can see a lot of the problem with VR right now is that technology to like you stick into the headsets is it's still new and it's still like pretty expensive when
Exactly.
when you get a few generations of headsets and then it's just like, oh, the Oculus or the Vive is no longer like the newest thing. Like the Vive 2 comes out, the Vive will suddenly drop in price because fuck it. And I really want one, actually. Don't fuck it. I crazy want VR. But yeah, so I think like once a generation or two of headsets come out and the improvements are made, like I can definitely see consoles being like, hey, let's do VR now, like actually do VR. I think didn't PlayStation do kind of like a pseudo VR thing?
Oh, PlayStation's got like true VR already.
Mhm.
But that's what the question was asked to Phil Spencer a while back was what's Microsoft's response to PlayStation VR? And his as Rob just said, his statement was that they're not focused on it. But I don't take that as like kind of what you guys are saying that it's not going to happen. I think they're going to leave the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X. I think they're going to leave that open to like I'm wondering if we'll literally just get a point where they just say, "Hey, you can use your Vive with it," like rather than making their own headset, rather than investing that.
One thing I'm actually wondering, because they have been getting buddy with Steam, is maybe they'll just find a way to adapt the fucking Steam headset to Xbox.
Oh yeah, what's that called?
I was looking at it a few days.
The Index, the Valve Index. I think that's what it's called.
Yep. But yeah, so they might be looking at that. I think yet again, because the Index is also pretty expensive, but I think when they get like a next generation for it and stuff gets cheaper, then they'll be like, hey, Steam, do you want to can we adapt your headset to our Xbox instead of developing our own? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. More money.
It does seem like they're focusing more on like making the Xbox an environment than just like actual pieces of hardware.
Yeah,
especially with the announcement
totally
that
down
like,
for.
Yeah. Well, like it's like how they announced, all the games in this presentation are going to be on Xbox Game Pass. And apparently, like, if you subscribe to the top level of Xbox Game Pass, you get at least, I think, like a free trial of xCloud when it launches.
Which I think is cool. It's like one of those, like an actual option instead of people being like, hey, this is an option, but not really an option.
Microsoft,
like, you can buy a game or you can be like, whatever, bro, I'll take it.
Microsoft isn't trying to win by units selling anymore. Now they're just trying to create like an ecosystem of like if you're a PC gamer, you can still get Game Pass and get the PC versions of all of our games. If you're a PC gamer and you don't want Game Pass, well, Halo's on Steam now. Like they're just trying to get your money to them however they need to. Like there's multiple Microsoft owned IPs that are on the Switch now, and there's rumors floating around that xCloud will come to the Switch, which is like Microsoft. That's a good, if that turns out to be true, that's a good thing for Microsoft to finally find a way into the Japanese market.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy for them if they do, because honestly, I think that just like spreading out and giving more access to more people is a great idea.
Well, like the Japanese market does seem to be more of a focus for them this generation too. Like between, like, because I think at least a couple of the studios they bought are Japanese, aren't they?
Yep.
And then like they're partnering with Sega. Phantasy Star Online is coming to the Series X.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's already on the Xbox One.
How the fuck did I miss that? Okay.
Yeah, it kind of quietly launched, but it did really good for itself.
I haven't been staring at my Xbox like religiously, so that might be how I missed it.
I think it's free to play too.
Yeah, I have a friend who's been playing that like crazy. So I knew it existed. I just didn't know it went to the Xbox. Huh. Interesting.
So let's talk about
Time.
the second big thing to me. The second place. Well, I shouldn't say second place because I was excited with it, but because I feel like we'll go on less of a tangent, I want to start with Fable's back.
I know. I'm so excited and also hopeful and also kind of worried, but also excited. Fable 3 really hurt my heart.
There's been rumors for forever about Playground Games, and when I saw the trailer and it was like trees and grass and Playground Games came up, I immediately went, "Oh, it's true."
I'm so pumped.
I'm happy to see that from that trailer, it looks like they're going to try to keep Fable's sense of humor intact. Because I think at this point, the only thing it'll have in common with the series we already know is its name. I think it's going to be essentially an entirely new, presumably third person, but an entirely new third person action RPG. And it's just going to be set in Albion and your heroes, and the name is Fable, and that's the closest to a comparison that might actually be there. I think they'll still take cues from the original for the things you could do, like your ability to buy properties or, like the sense of humor the writing has and stuff like that. But I think other than that surface level stuff, I don't think it'll be recognizable by what we mentally think of when we think Fable. I think for all intents and purposes, it's a new game and like a new franchise. It's going to have a different control scheme. It's going to feel different.
Yeah, it feels like a reboot of a franchise.
Well, I guess that's kind of, I was trying to say like more than a reboot, but not quite, or less than a reboot, but still a reboot. I guess soft reboot. There we go. That's what I was trying to. I was just using a lot of extra words that didn't make any sense.
It's okay. I do that all the time because ADHD. Now you know how my entire life feels right there. Can't fucking think of a word, so I go on like tangents to figure it out. But yeah, I am so down for another Fable. As you know, I downloaded the Fable HD edition, and I've been playing that off and on. Oh God, I love Fable. Yet again, I am probably like 12 hours into my game, and I've just been grinding this one place. So there's like that little forest. I got like fucking earth golems popping up, and I'm already using like world-ending spells. And then I go to one area next to it, and it's just like a whole load of beetles. I'm just like, well, this is how you die. That's one thing I love is that you could just grind one area, and just that one area would level up with you. And then when you go to another one, it's just like, oh, a simple bandit. I'm just like, I've literally murdered like 5 earth golem things at this point. What are you going to do to me? My fireball literally explodes like you and all of your friends around you. You have no chance. I just want to be a mage again. Fuck, Fable 3 just hurt my heart.
I was disappointed that, like, the rumors that Playground was making Fable go back to 2018. I don't doubt the game is farther along in development than the trailer might have implied. I think there is like if Fable isn't, it's going to be 2021. I'm positive it might be Microsoft's big holiday 2021 title. That's my guess. And that makes me mildly disappointed that we didn't see something of gameplay from it, because I would like to see what has changed, what has stayed the same, what it's gonna kind of look like in a sense.
I'm a little bit different. I think it's going to be early 2022 because this feels like a reveal the concept, not a reveal the game. So they're just like, hey, we're making a new Fable, not this is what it is. If it was going to be released early 2021, or like in 2021, it could be super late 2021.
Well, that's what I was thinking was their holiday title.
Maybe, but I have like this weird feeling that'll probably be 2022. but I could be wrong. It's just it feels for those kinds of trailers, it feels like it's still like a year or two off.
Mm.
It's more they're just letting people know that they're working on a Fable game and not like a really, hey, Fable game. You know? Look at this wonderful thing. It's Fable. So yeah, I think we'll still have time to see like what it's about. Yet again, I'm very excited, but I'm also kind of hesitant because as I said, Fable 3 was a cruel, cruel mistress, and I'm sad.
Well, this isn't the original developers went out of business, so
They did. So I'm hoping they look at like Halo 1 and there are aspects of or a good number of aspects of Halo 2 I enjoyed. I know you don't like
I assume you're talking about Fable 1 and Fable 2.
Yeah, sorry. My brain.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Master Chief had a fart button, right?
Yeah, totally.
Only one?
I totally mentally skipped over to our next topic. But yeah, I'm hoping that that they look at like Fable 1 and then some aspects from Fable 2, because I did enjoy some aspects of Fable 2. I know you didn't like guns, I did. It just they're just archery with more bang.
But they broke the game.
I mean,
you can just stand at a distance and shoot them. With a bow, you have to reload, or a crossbow, you have to reload. But
I could do that with a little bit of magic, and I could literally shoot arrows like nobody's business.
Yeah, but you could just fucking.
And you had
it took all the challenge out.
I mean, if you shot your gun and then you were just like, oh no, now I have to reload, that was a little bit shitty. It's like a little opposite of you have to like hold down to load and then fire, minus like you're going to take a few to reload, but then you can just fire instantly. It's two different like ways of doing it, but yeah, I like them. You didn't. We can agree to disagree on that. but yeah, I'm hoping that they look at like Fable 1 and then aspects of Fable 2 for inspiration and just leave Fable 3 to die in a pit.
There are parts of Fable 2 I liked that I hope come back. Like I like that you could just buy any property.
Yeah.
And like, you could buy a store and like set prices for the store and the profits would go to you and everything.
That's definitely one of the parts I loved about it.
I liked the job system.
And just become a god of business.
I enjoyed the job system. I wish every single job was just a hit A on a rhythm. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that every job just had that same control scheme for just hit A when the game tells you to hit A. But I liked the concept of, I'm low on money. I'm in a town. I'll go find a farmer that needs some wood chopped and see if he'll pay me to chop wood. Like, I liked that aspect of just the job system, I guess. And I would like to see that make a return just with more gameplay variety associated with it.
Yeah, I feel you. That's two of those systems, definitely the ones I'm talking about, because I love those. I also love how you could like completely just like bypass the whole like ending big spiel of Fable 2 by just parties. Like when you start out and then get all the money and be like, "Hey, bitch, get the fuck out of here!" when that old like other aspect of just like, "Oh, you're the ruler. This is what's happening. Your world's doomed unless you do this." And it's just like, well, I got all this money. So go away. Yeah. You literally could beat the game through greed. It was a beautiful
thing. Just
like
real life.
Yeah, you can win life with greed.
Any thoughts on Fable, Rob?
I've heard they're great games. Honestly, I think I played a little bit of the beginning of Fable 2, and that's about it. So I think it's cool that they're making another one, and I hope it's good for the fans. But I mean, I don't have any opinion on it really.
My first memory of Fable was playing the first one and not realizing that actions like determine like your alignment, and also that actions actually determine your alignment, because I just remember my first reaction was running around town and punching a kid in the face. Like it was just like you have like negative or like the little like demon plus like stuff comes up. Like, wait, what's that about? I just want to punch children. Stop judging me.
I remember when I bought my Xbox and you came over to my place and you slept over and we took turns playing Fable basically all night until I got tired and I went to bed, and you just kept playing. And when I woke up, your character had horns because he was so evil. And everybody would scream when you'd go running by, and you were
all the evil spells are the best spells. It doesn't matter that you turn evil when you learn them. I'll give enough money to homeless people to not be evil anymore. It's just I want those magic. The fucking life drain spell is amazing. I was like a master wizard too by the time you woke up. It had like all the spells. Yeah, good game. I can't wait. Can't wait to just hide in one section of the forest and turn it into like Deathland while everybody else is just chilling.
I feel like Fable was the first. We might have talked about this before, because I know we've talked about Fable 1 briefly on a previous podcast, but I feel like Fable was the first RPG to really nail that feeling of you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to see how this Fable game might expand.
Like, I'd also like Oblivion had a lot of that, but why I got into Fable and not Oblivion, or not Oblivion, fucking Morrowind for the Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion just felt kind of clunky. Like it was an old game even then. But playing through it, I can't remember if Fable 1 came out after Oblivion came out.
Fable 1 came out in 2004. I don't know when Morrowind or Oblivion came out.
Scrolls Oblivion. So I was talking about this with Wesley one time. 2006, yeah, so it was Oblivion, or not Oblivion, it was Morrowind. Fuck these names. That was out when Fable came out. Yeah, and like where Morrowind was like, oh, it's open, you could do whatever. It just felt very clunky, like it took forever to do anything. You'd swing your sword, and like half the time you wouldn't even hit a bitch. It was just because it just did rolls instead of you actually being in front of a guy's swinging.
But Nathan, that's how you play a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
Bethesda hit a golden age with Oblivion and Skyrim, and then have broken my heart. Well, no, I really liked Fallout 4, and I'm weird. Well, not really weird. I just like building towns. It's not really a Fallout game for me. It's just my massive town manager game.
Oh, I know something I wanted to say about Fable. There was a rumor a while back that the next Fable game would actually have that Playgrounds Fable game would actually have different like planets, like as if this like mythical fantasy world takes place in like a solar system where there's multiple planets really close together, so that you like jump planet to planet conceptually, like jumping between like dimensions or realms or whatever.
Yeah, it's not the D&D like you're in the astral realm and shit. No, it's like actual like you're on a different fucking planet.
Yeah, and the gameplay was that like if you had to the pitch I remember reading somewhere was like you could jump to a different planet and like hang out there, but you could actually like look up in the sky and always see the other planets. And the concept was like if you started a forest fire on a planet, then jump to another one, you could actually look up and see the fire on the planet. Like the worlds are all rendered in real time to each other.
Jump to the moon and you just suffocate.
I'm pretty sure there'd be some limitations.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of suspension of disbelief there.
Open up a portal to the moon, just all the air in the planet just starts getting vacuumed out.
But yeah, I was just curious what you guys would think of that idea.
I can see why it why it didn't happen, because that's pretty advanced for what I think technology back then would have. Like,
Oh no,
even the
this
start of
this is rumor for what this Fable game is.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. I tested. I like this is one of the reasons why I like tabletop games, is a lot of the exploration of like different worlds. Like, hey, you start off in this world. Fuck it, you go to the Fae or the Astral Realm, and there's like all these different rules, and like physics works differently, and all these creatures act differently. Be cool if they could make it like each planet is like a different experience. Like, not just like fuck, what was the other like, whoa, what was my example? Borderlands 3, like a lot of it, like you go to different planet, you have different enemies, like there are different guns and like a different setting. But what I liked about like D&D is if you go to the astral realm, hey, not only that, but like and you're technically a dream. And so like your actions there, if you die, you return to your body. It'd be cool if they could make like each planet, and because it's Fable and it's a fantasy setting, you could totally make each planet super different. Like, hey, maybe on this planet, like your magic doesn't work, or hey, on this planet, literally you can only use like magic, or like on this place, if you have like guns that you hate, maybe fucking we're volatile and you'll just blow yourself up if you use it. So you can just throw your guns like grenades or some shit. I don't know. They could get really funky with different worlds in a fantasy setting, and thinking about it, that could be pretty fun to explore. I kind of like this idea.
Yeah, like I'd love to see them pull off something that ambitious.
That would be amazing if they pull something off that's ambitious.
And I do think it's cool when, like, you know, when they introduce that kind of thing into a fantasy setting, because you don't see it all that often. Usually it's like, okay, well, if you want to have different planets, it has to be sci-fi. And if you want to do fantasy, it's all just like the one realm.
Yeah, and if they do it like in fantasy, like in Elder Scrolls, it's usually like small little sections they can't really explore.
Yeah.
Like in, or like in, fuck, what was the Morrowind, Oblivion? You could go to like the realm of Oblivion, but it's literally just like, hey, look, it's this one tower. You're in Oblivion, but it's one fucking tower. Have fun with that. Elder Scrolls Online kind of like it did actually expand on it a little bit more, which I found was interesting. But the way they did it felt more kind of like just a reskinned world than like, oh, you're completely like, you're literally supposed to be on a different realm that embodies the god of it. Literally everything's the same, just enemies are look different. It's like, whatever. Oh, look, there are these guys in a fucking cage flailing. Congratulations, we have that on Earth. Nut. Just without the purple filter.
I do like that idea that you put in my head of like, you go to this planet and like gravity is really low, so like blunt weapons like a great hammer are like shit because there's no point to them. Like a person can just kick it away from you or something. So if you're someone who normally fights melee weapons, you might be forced to, all right, well, now I got to use my bow, or now I got to use magic or whatever while I'm on this planet. That's a unique idea. I hope if this rumor is true, I hope that's kind of what they're going for.
People should totally ask me more about my ideas and just implement them into the world, but at the same time, I have too many. I have too ADHD to stick to an idea.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to really segue. Halo Infinite.
Okay, anyways.
So, Nathan and I are traditionally very big Halo fans. I'm not personally.
Sorry, I'm joking. Come on.
I'm not personally a very big fan of 343's era of Halo games. You okay?
I am. All right. Oh,
I would love if while I'm trying to describe, like, you know, I'm a big Halo fan. There's just in the background.
okay. Anyways, back
So
to it.
I really want Halo Infinite to be the Halo game that brings me back to, I don't know, being into modern Halo. Like I enjoyed Halo 4's campaign at the time. I didn't like its multiplayer, but I did play its custom games with friends. Halo 5 had a story, I guess.
I oddly didn't mind the story. It was the mechanics of the game that really killed me.
Oh, they're both bad. But
then again, I love books, so fuck me, right?
I don't like that.
I like the game I like the story because I read and know a lot of the extended lore, but main character was kind of boring.
Everybody's
always like,
think that it was like, oh, I didn't like the mechanics, but I read books, so whatever.
That's how I interpreted it too.
I read books, so everybody should lay me.
Shooting guns? This isn't turning pages. That's a 0 stars from me.
So
anyways.
Yeah, I don't want to just go into like how much I like the Halo series as a whole, because that's a whole nother tangent, but
Halo 5 was kind of very
I have high hopes but very low expectations for or had, but prior to this announcement, this reveal, I had high hopes but low expectations because of just how far Halo's fallen from my personal tastes, how much it's changed and how different it is now, and I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not trying to knock it specifically. The Halo 4 and 5 do have its fans. And I'm happy those people are happy, but it's not my Halo, so I don't play them. I don't like them. And that I do want to say, I don't envy the position 343 Industries is in for that.
Yeah, no kidding. They have two different groups of fans now.
Yeah, and the fans that want it to go back to how it was in the Bungie days are like, how do you please both, right? Like it can't be a very fun situation to be in. And Halo Infinite, in terms of gameplay of what was revealed, I will say it did look like they are trying to find a blend of maybe limiting I shouldn't say limiting mobility because there's a grapple hook now. But like, I don't know, finding a balance between how the 343 games and Bungie games behaved and trying to strike a balance between them. I did get a feeling, I will say, in terms of gameplay, Halo Infinite looked like it's closer to a Bungie game than a 343 game to me on a surface level, but I won't know that for sure until I see like footage of multiplayer or something. Like I need to see human beings fighting other human beings in order for me to be able to judge whether or not the gameplay looks appealing in terms of how it should feel. Because even in Halo 4 and 5, despite the fact that they are very different from Bungie's games, I can still choose to play the campaign my way by just not using sprint, not clambering, not only using grenade jumping to get up a wall or something like that.
Yeah,
I can choose
go to multiplayer.
Yeah, I can choose to do that in campaign, but when I go to multiplayer, I'm not utilizing tools that everybody else is, and that just makes me lose every time. So that's the thing where, in terms of what I saw, did not disappoint me in terms of its gameplay, but I need to see the multiplayer to really get a feeling of whether or not this is going to feel like Halo to me. Yeah. And I was disappointed with the presentation and with the reveal because it didn't show. They hyped this up to be like, we're going to show you the game. And I was expecting like 10 minutes of campaign, 10 minutes of multiplayer. They're going to show multiple like maps, not all of them, but just a couple. There'd probably be one map that's returning, like a fan favorite, like Blood Gulch, and then they would, and then Forge mode or something. Here's how Forge has changed, but instead they just showed, I think it was 8 minutes.
Campaign. It was a level. It was a level halfway through the main campaign for 8 minutes.
I don't remember them saying halfway through, but I did remember them saying it's a couple hours in.
Don't worry, a couple hours. I think it's. I don't know. I read up on this, so I'll let you get over your part because I might have things that I know that you don't. So I'll go through my rant when that happens.
So the elephant in the room, and the internet has already turned it into a meme, is the graphics of the game. Maybe I'm just an outlier here, but I'm just going to say my opinion. This is who I am. I don't really care. I think it looked fine.
I liked the graphics. It looked totally good with me.
To me, it looked like a next gen version of Halo 1.
Yeah.
And I can understand why people are upset, because there was, even in this demo, there was like texture pop in that I noticed. It was an older build though. They had another little viewing later, and they didn't have nearly as many issues of that. But yeah, I remember them saying, I did read like an interview that they'd done that where they had said like this is an earlier build of the game running on a PC that is spec'd about the same as the Xbox Series X, and it's not actually like the version we'd get on launch day. But I have my own issues with that. Like this close to launch, you'd think that they would be showing the version you'd be getting at launch.
Well, like, especially this big presentation that they've been hyping up, like you'd think they would show at least the most recent build of the game that they have.
The only reason I can think of why they wouldn't would be if there's their most recent build of the game has some game-breaking glitch that they're like, okay, well, we can't even get it to play for 10 minutes right now, so let's show them the version that did work. But
which is totally something that's possible, because that would not be the first time something like that has happened.
But that's the thing, is that's the scary part to me, is does that mean that they're technically nowhere near done, but they might just push it out on launch day anyway?
Well, it could be that, or it could be like Jimmy was eating a sandwich and accidentally hit a period somewhere in their code, and it's just fucked things up, and they couldn't find it in time.
That is true.
Like a wide mix of why it could happen. It could be from like fingering the keyboard to like they're literally nowhere near ready and they're panicking. So who knows?
So going back, I guess, a little bit to like the graphics, they definitely looked a lot. One of the complaints I see is that everything looks like it's made out of plastic, and I agree to an extent, because it does have a very they have very solid colors, and the lighting kind of looked off, so it kind of made things look plastic. But I don't entirely have an issue with that either. Like it's hard for me to really say it, because I understand why people are upset, because I played Halo 5 when it came out, and I will say, if anything else about Halo 5 that is compliment, the graphics in that game was unbelievable. Like
Halo 2 remake?
Like if you look at a picture from one of the cutscenes of Buck, a Halo character portrayed by Nathan Fillion, you look at a picture of Buck in Halo 5 and a real life picture of Nathan Fillion, and you can almost not tell them apart. Like that, it was uncanny valley photorealism, and now it's this. And I can sympathize with the people that's, if Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, let's pretend it was an amazing game for a second. If it looked like The Witcher 3 and then Breath of the Wild came out, I can understand why people be like, what the hell? Like why did you do that? And to me, the graphics aren't bad. It's the art style has changed. And I I don't have any complaints with the new art style. I knew as soon as I saw it that, oh, people aren't gonna like this.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I knew, I think it's fine. The internet won't. The internet will slaughter them, and already a Brute's face has become a meme.
Oh my god, I love the meme though.
The best
That's
one
amazing.
the best one I saw was the Brute's face on one of those boxes of like environmental cereals, like Gorilla Munch or something.
Beautiful.
But yeah, like there are some legitimate complaints to have with the art, with the graphics. Is one that I've got is when it had that close up of, I'm assuming, who is the new villain talking to the chief, you could tell like these animations aren't that good. Like there's some mouth movements that were done in like Halo 3 in 2007 that look better than this. But that's the thing, is animations can be tweaked and improved by launch. So I'm not too concerned about that.
And honestly, like 98% of your entire time is not going to be spent looking at animations.
No, that's the other thing, is you're not going to be like, people were saying like, look at how ugly, like, well, the meme Brute, look at how low res he is.
I think the meme Brute is amazing.
When you are in combat and you shoot a Brute that looks like that, are you going to stop and stare at his body and analyze how detailed his face looks? Or are you going to turn around? or are you going to turn around and keep fighting the elite that's trying to kill you? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand why generic enemy number 47 not looking very high res is an issue for people, but it is. But for me, it isn't. There's one thing I'm really hoping about that this trailer and even the teaser from last E3 showed us. The character that the fandom has dubbed the Pilot. I love him.
I love him too.
I hope he's essentially the new Cortana. Like, I hope he's the guy you hear on your headset. I hope he's the guy you see routinely throughout the campaign. There's this weird combination of, I don't know if respect is the right word, but it's like respect and nostalgia and amusement, I guess, of the scene where they crash. Because when you look at it in
fucking, don't tell me.
yes. Like,
oh hell yeah.
You look at the context in this universe of that. Like, that's like in the Marvel movies, Joe the janitor looking at Captain America and saying, "No, you shut the hell up. You brought me here." And it's just, I love this idea that this dude is like, oh my God, this is the chief. And then as soon as they crash, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go. No, we're not going anywhere. You listen to me now.
Fuck.
But
here for you.
He seems so human.
Yeah.
And I like him so far, and I hope he's not, in the first 3 missions and then you never see him again, or he gets killed or something. Like, I hope that's not the case, but who knows?
He sticks around for, doesn't have to be there the entire game, but I hope he sticks around for a good portion of it, because I like him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if he is evidence to it, I'm hoping that they have hired actual writers for this game. Because I don't think there were any on Halo 5, but that's just me.
There's just the lore team just going at it on a sheet of paper.
In terms of,
we shove in here?
In terms of gameplay, I have almost no complaints. I'm one of those people. Again, I'm a fan of the the Bungie Halo games. So, in my opinion, Halo became unbalanced and muddy when Sprint was introduced, because the foundation of the series was built in like old school arena shooters like Unreal Tournament. So as soon as Sprint was added, it changed the game. It made it fast paced. It stopped being about finding a spot on the map that you could control, coordinating with your team to control that area. Maybe it's where the rocket launcher spawns, or maybe it's where the sniper rifle spawns. The weapons on the map dictated, you know, everybody wants this weapon, so everybody goes to that area. So if you were new to the game, if everybody on your team, everybody on their team, were all going to the same point, you knew, okay, there's like a fucking rocket launcher or some shit over there. But maybe if the map's balanced well, that means there's a sniper rifle on the other side, and I can like go up there and snipe them. And you go up there, sure enough, there's a sniper rifle, but then there's the one other guy on the other team that had the same thought, and now you're fighting him. That's how it felt. Whereas Halo Reach, not so much, because sprinting to get like across the map in seconds without even using a vehicle, that was not a problem as much in Reach. I'm trying to be fair, because a lot of 343 fans get upset when I say this, and Reach did have sprint.
Sprint wasn't built in.
In Reach, sprint wasn't that big of a problem because sprint itself was an equipment. It was like a weapon you had to equip to give your Spartan the ability to sprint. So if you were in a map like Blood Gulch, sprint was useful. But if you were in a map that was very close quarters, you didn't want sprint. You wanted, I don't know, overshields or something, so that lockdown or whatever, so that you have an advantage in this space, and the maps dictated what kind of equipment was good for it. But Halo 4 and onward, well, I guess that's just 4 and 5, but 343 made sprinting something that the Chief, or in multiplayer, your Spartan can just do. And there's still equipment, but you can always still sprint. And that turned the game into, I'm not trying to piss people off, but this is going to piss people off. It took Halo and made it Call of Duty, in my opinion. And what I'm not someone that shattled over Call of Duty back in the day or anything either. Like, I think if you like Call of Duty, that's great. There's some Call of Duty games I like, but to me,
Modern Warfare, fucking good game. To
me, Halo was Halo and COD was COD, but now they're both kind of the same, and that just bugs me. It's not that you can't have fun with 4 and 5 if you're into that type of gameplay, but I'm not into that type of gameplay in Halo. So the reason why I went on this tangent about sprint is because I'm someone that, as a rule of thumb, I want sprint gone. I don't like it. And in this trailer, the Master Chief did sprint twice. However, from the way at least this portion of the map was designed, sprinting, I could tell, I don't think it's going to be like a crutch that you can rely on, at least in the campaign. And that grappling hook changes completely, assuming they've already confirmed, I believe, that the grappling hook is in multiplayer, but it is equipment. Yep. So I'm assuming that means maybe you'll get it and it'll either have to recharge after you use it, or maybe it has like 2 uses and then it's gone, like out of ammo, essentially. And that could prevent the grappling hook from becoming the next sprint of like just ripping the multiplayer a new one. But if the game is designed around maybe having, you know, these wide open fields in a map, but there's also these tight corridors or these canyons that you can climb up using the grapple hook, the multiplayer could still be really fun. But for me, as someone that knows what I like and what I don't like in Halo, I really wanted to see that multiplayer, because I wanted to see how Infinite's functions work when it's player versus player. When it's player versus AI, you can always predict the elite's going to sidestep to the left. You can aim ahead of time and keep hitting them. But when you're playing against people, you can't predict what they're going to do, and the community kind of dictates what is and isn't balanced based on what the community uses. So I just wanted to see that multiplayer so I could get a clear vision of what is their goal here in regards to catering to the two fan bases. And unfortunately, we didn't see any multiplayer, which was disappointing. But from what I did see, as I said earlier, before this event, I had high hopes and low expectations. I would say now I've got high hopes and moderate expectations, which is an improvement.
Yeah. I'm in the same field. It went from high hopes and low expectations to high hopes and moderate expectations, which is an improvement and means that, hey, things are better than I was expecting. So there are a few things. First off, yes to the grappling hook being equipment. So it's going to be kind of, at least from what I could tell, kind of like how Halo Reach did it, in which like your equipment is like your armor ability or whatever. In campaign, Master Chief can basically have like the grappling hook, the shield wall thing, and all that shit. I think sprint is also counted as one now. I don't think it's in bail, but
that could affect. I just want to say, because you've said that, my little complaint about sprint and multiplayer, if sprint has returned to being equipment, that could help almost 90% of my complaints with sprint. So if it's in multiplayer, if you have to make that choice between sprint or the grappling hook, that solves a lot of my problems. I wanted to say that when I was doing my rant, and I forgot until you mentioned it. So I just wanted to say that quick.
Yeah, totally. I'm on the same field. So I'm not entirely sure about sprint, and some people have been saying it's going to be equipment too. So I'm just assuming or guessing that it's probably going to be equipment. I'm hoping so much just equipment. So yeah, in campaign you can basically get all the abilities. That's basically what your upgrades are going to be. Is you're going to get all these like little fancy abilities that in multiplayer will be your armor abilities. So I also love weapon sandboxes and all the different types of weapons. There are some things I'm excited for in this one, and there's some things I'm nervous for. First off, the like revolver shotgun, kind of not the revolver shotgun, the like big like the shotgun with like the oh god, what is it called?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
are you talking about the Mauler?
No, not the Mauler. When he picked up the like shotgun, it just had what the fuck are those things? It's like the revolver loady bit. I can't remember the names of them.
I assumed it was the Mauler.
No, it's the big one. Like they have the brute pistol, which is the Mauler looking one, so that's a brute pistol. It's basically a revolver, but they had like the big like pump action shotgun, just where the shells are stored. It's like a circle. I fucking can't remember the name of that shit. Fucking goddamn it. Hold on, let me find it.
I think they call it the big shooty gun.
Hurry up and load, internet. I fucking hate you. Oh, there it is. Open the link. What's inside? Happiness. Or sadness, depending on your... This thing! The new shotgun. And it has like the little spindly thing in it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so...
I'll put that picture up in the podcast, I guess.
There's a GIF, actually. Hold on, no, probably better. Fucking... There you go. So, like, that shotgun, I've heard is like the old, like, top-loading shotgun. So, not too happy about that. Also, the new plasma carbine might be replacing the carbine, which sucks because I really love the carbine and I don't want that to go. But at the same time, they've brought back some weapons. I'm really happy. Like the BR actually looks pretty good now, unlike what it used to. It actually looks like like pretty close to the classic Halo 2 BR, which was my favorite BR. And the assault rifle looks like it's straight out of fucking Reach, which is I liked Reaches, honestly.
So, yeah. I never had a complaint with Reach's design for that weapon.
Yeah. So it looks like the weapon sandbox is going to be expanded, which I'm not surprised about, because if they're doing like I don't think it's going to be a true open world game. It's going to be like a world with like large areas to explore. So basically Fable, but like on a huge level. And once you leave an area, you can't return. So it makes sense that they would put in a lot of new weapons. Some of the weapons I really love, like that new brute rifle, like looks amazing. Just spitting red bolts of plasma everywhere. It looks great. I really like the Brute pistol. I hope the Mauler makes a return though, because the Brutes need a shotgun, so the Mauler would be perfect. Some weapons like that shotgun, and honestly, the new pistol. I'm hoping the new pistol doesn't replace the old style pistol, because I really like the old style pistol. But yet again, haven't heard anything about that, so I'm hoping it doesn't. Yes. Also, enemies. This is what I found really cool, and something that I actually really liked when they showed it. Did you notice that there was both 343 era enemies and Bungie era enemies?
Like in terms of like armor design?
Yeah. So like he had some of the grunts that looked very much like the 343 ones that you saw in like Halo 4 and Halo 5, but at the same time, there's some grunts that looks like they're straight out of Halo 3.
I noticed the ones that were out of Halo 3, but I didn't notice that there was like a hodgepodge of them.
Yeah, and I think that's actually pretty cool. In that GIF I sent you, there's some of the yeah, you can see two of the Halo 5, 4, or 343 era grunts. So I'm super excited. I'm happy that the elites don't look like big lumbering idiots anymore. They actually look like fucking warriors, like graceful warriors. Because my god, for some reason, I don't know why, but 343, their elites, they always made me think that they took brutes and elites and just made weird hybrid babies out of them. Was basically like 343's era elites to me.
Yeah, they completely changed. Like
right.
They completely changed like their stature.
They're so bulky compared to like the nimble, like warrior, like esque like people from beforehand. Those 343 turned them like super, like strong, chunky boys, and I was like, what the fuck happened here? So yeah, design wise, I'm actually super happy about like where they're going with it. I think that joining the two styles together for some of the enemies, like the grunts, was a great idea. Because like you don't have to run into that issue of just explaining. No, it's like two different like species of grunts. And like the same with the jackals, but the jackals had always had that because you had like the skirmisher jackals and then like the fucking ones with the shields and all that. They had like that change in reach, so I'm fine with that. Graphics overall, I'm exactly the same as you. I don't mind it. I actually kind of like the new graphics a fair bit. It reminds me of Halo 1, and I love Halo 1. Yeah, I'm just worried on, how do I say this? I'm worried about the multiplayer because yet again they're relying a lot on like pros. Like they're getting like pros and competitive players to design their multiplayer or help them design the multiplayer again. And where there's definitely a pro aspect of it, a lot of the time games that go to, and this is what I've just found, but a lot of games that have a huge competitive stance and a lot of people who do competitive gaming, the games for them are very samey in how the multiplayer feels and like how basically how multiplayer feels. And that was my issue with how Halo 5's multiplayer kind of reminded me yet again of like Call of Duty. I think it was Infinite? No, Call of Duty. Oh god, what was the future one that you're in exosuits? They're basically like the exact, like they felt the exact same, and those felt like Overwatch to me in another odd way, and just like how you move through the levels, and like that. Yet again, it looks very similar to like how oh, what's that game I don't play that everybody plays?
Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite. Like
Oh,
how everything moves, how you slide and jump, and everything feels floaty, and the movements and the shooting all feels super similar between games that are considered like competitive games. And it's kind of like kill it, like a lot of the whole like, hey, these are competitive games, and a lot of people, because players will swap between the two, get used to them, and they're expecting a competitive game, they're expecting it to play a certain way nowadays, is how I'm starting to like rationalize the fact that everything's turning samey. It's because everybody's looking for this one way to be competitive, and competitive players like how these games play. And so I'm worried if Halo Infinite is focusing on competitive play, it's yet again going to feel like every other fucking AAA competitive game under the sun.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that through level design they can mitigate it, if especially they're taking like some design choices from older games, which ironically were the competitive games back then. Everybody was doing competitive fucking Halo 3 for a long time, I remember. So I'm just hoping that it goes back to like a little bit lean to like how it used to be, instead of like how people like basically how like competitive gaming is seen nowadays. That's my competitive gaming rant, and how I'm just like, yeah, fucking, yeah, it's the same.
One thing
So,
I
yeah.
noticed, this is just a me thing, because I feel like I'm the only person that talks about it. But when I played Halo 5, I could almost, it sounded like every single gun had a squeak to it.
Oh god, yeah. I hope that doesn't happen again.
But in this gameplay trailer, I didn't hear that at all. So I'm hoping that maybe that's something that's just gone. But I don't remember hearing people talk about it or complain about it. But it sounded like every gun had a squeak.
It just sounded like there's a weird filter over a lot of the shit that was in that game.
It might have just been an audio filter that they used for all the guns, but like it bugged me.
Yeah. There were some guns that just sounded like a little too quiet. But yeah, again, that's just like audio tweaking. Hopefully they fix that as an older build. Yeah, I'm hopeful because, and I'm kind of excited variety of weapons that it had, and I'm hoping that we'll get that again with Infinite. And because it's an open world game, I'm hoping that does happen. I'm one, and I know you disagree with me heavily when it comes to this, but one thing I should like, basically the one thing I did enjoy from Halo 5 was with like, nothing, or this Assault Rifle folk can like zoom in slightly, and like this pistol doesn't have a zoom, this pistol has a silencer and all that. I will say that like putting scopes on like assault rifles is way too overpowered, and don't do that. But like it would be cool to just have like variety of weapons. Like, oh, this is just like a normal pistol. This pistol has like, maybe it has like the old fashioned top on it that used to be in, like the one in Halo 1 and Halo 3 have, like that weird angular thing. Maybe this one has a silencer, like the ODST one. Like things that aren't gameplay like breaking, but like and like sound wise is a difference. That would be super cool, and that's something I did like from Halo 5, was just that you could get like different types of weapons. I mean, having a skin and then changing the fact that this gun suddenly shoots plasma is a little stupid in my opinion. But I liked my pistol with the silencer. That was a cool little pistol. And my pistol without a silencer. I could carry around 2 pistols. Somebody who loves pistols, that made me happy. I love my little guns.
You mean in the game, right?
Boy, you don't know my life. We've been in quarantine for how long? You don't know what I've been up to.
And with like the obvious metal sound there, that was chilling.
That's me putting my water bottle back on the desk, but yeah, sure.
Why is your water bottle an anime sword?
You don't know. Come over here and find out. I dare you.
So, I guess, Rob, what's your? I don't know if I'd call you an outsider on this one, because you do have some experience with Halo.
Yeah.
Well, what's your
God with
opinion?
rocket launchers.
I mean, I don't know, like, I haven't gone as deep in this series as you guys have. Like, I mean, all right, Nathan, settle down.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a few people who have to this point.
Oh, I thought you were just laughing at me saying going deep.
No.
All right.
I haven't gone as deep as you guys.
Well, now you mentioned it. No. Okay.
Wart.
What? Mhm.
Yeah, they say you get that if you're not careful. Anyway. No, I mean, like, I agree. I think, like, I didn't see. Honestly, I didn't even notice like the graphical issues, like the pop in that you guys did, but I never do. But I do like sort of the visual style. I did. I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm like not as good at Halo. I did kind of like how much faster it looked than the other games, especially with the grappling hook. Like you look. I don't know. Listening to what you guys were saying about like sprinting and all that, this may actually be one of your complaints with Halo 5. But I like sort of how mobile you looked in the little bit of Infinite that they did show.
Interesting.
Well, in Infinite, what they showed, like it didn't bother me at all. But my
issue is,
problem.
like, running on like walls and doing backflips over bullshit. It's like, what the fuck?
That sounds like so much fun, though.
But if you want that, play Warframe, not Halo. That's my point.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Is like Halo stopped. It lost its identity by becoming
adapting to what a whole lot of other games were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, so, like, I'm excited for the grappling hook because I'm just thinking of how many maps on Forge. Like, could you like, especially like our bridge fight maps? I could make some wacky ass bases with a grappling hook. Like, holy crap! Tom's just over there, like, oh my god, how many? Oh god, but that means I'll have to find a different way to make my little like safe spawning zones. I'm not sure about this grappling hook idea anymore. Gonna have to go back to my.
See, one thing I've always liked about Halo, like going back to Halo 3, is there were so many different ways to play Halo that still felt like Halo. Because you could go, because of Forge mode and custom games where you can set your own rules and whatever, you could create maps that were like racetracks, and you could put warthogs on it, and you could set checkpoints and have a finish line, and you could make a racetrack. And so like Halo 3 had this whole community that built interesting shit. Like it wasn't, that's the hardest part to explain to people about Halo 3 is it wasn't just a first person shooter. Like I remember maps where the whole goal was I remember maps where the whole goal was like you had to parkour your way across a map, and like it was like an obstacle course, and all you had to do was get to the end, and it was a different way to play Halo. And I'm hoping Infinite can go back to that. That's one of the things I wanted to see the Forge mode for was what are they doing to try to bring that part of Halo back, if that's even something they want to do anymore. Because they did confirm that it does have Forge mode. So why didn't you show it?
I had the weirdest issue with Halo 5 Forge. I loved Halo 4 Forge, and that to me was like the best for like mechanics and like shit that you could do in it and all that, because it gave you a lot of tools. And then Halo 5 kind of took that to like an extreme that where you could do some insane zany shit with it. Holy crap, you needed like a fucking degree in map design to do it. Like in Halo like 4, like in all of the Forges, pick up controller, very simple. This is like a block. These are block sizes. Like they're pre-built structures to just make like some stuff easy if you just want to like have a quick, cool little like spot to do whatever in. But in Halo 5, it suddenly became like everything is just like you basically get like a piece of clay and you modify this like one block of material until it fits perfectly the dimensions you want. Now you put it in. And I had two issues with that. Was one, trying like if you're building a map, and like for me, I usually look at the pieces and then I form a map around like the bits that I have. When they gave me that, it's just like, oh god, like what the fuck am I supposed to build with this? Like, Jesus Christ. And then the other issue was that you could get insanely detailed, but in order to do it, like a little bunker, custom making your own little bunker could literally take like a quarter of the budget that you had for Forge. And where you can make some really cool like little structures with it, you could not make maps like as big or expansive as like me and Tom used to make, in which we would take like sand, or what was the Halo 3 sandbox? I think it was the
Sandbox,
towers.
yeah.
Yeah, sandbox. We take sandbox and like make like the little towns on like all these like corners of the map. And sure, they're just like blocks and like a few pre-made structures and whatever. But it was beautiful in its simplicity, and getting to that level of detail kind of took it away in a sense. Like, I'm hoping that when they do it, they'll have, ideally, how I'm hoping they do it is you'll have all your pre-made like blocks of different sizes, like your platforms, your bridges, your buildings, like your little decals. And then if you want, they'll have another section that's like basically your like clay material. Like if you want to get that detailed, you can just take the little clay like thing and form your own structure out of it. And I think that would be an ideal fit, because you can make these big expansive ones, but then if I want to go, what if I just want like a stupid little, like, if people walk into this room and it just looks like some man cave, and I could just clay myself up a computer and like be like, well, here's a man cave. Just because people can run in and be like, cool. So
man cave.
Yeah, man cave in a video game. Awesome. Master Chief just kicking it back with the Arbiters, sucking back, I don't know, Coca-Cola, and playing what's the game? Fable. Which would be amazing.
Playing Halo.
Yeah, so I'm excited but also nervous for the Forge, because I really like how the old Forge was, and where the Forge in Halo 5 was really cool. It got a little too advanced that made it like intimidating to a point.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't just like go in and just whip yourself up a cool little map to just dick around with friends, and you'd have to like sit down and take a fucking afternoon to build.
Like, you had to like learn to be a programmer in order to.
Yeah, or at least a level designer, just to figure out what the fuck you were doing.
So, like, to what you guys were saying, I was surprised just how little the game they showed off.
Yeah,
like the way I would have done it would be, like you said, I would have shown off, maybe about like 10 minutes of the campaign, had like, a little demonstration of Forge, and then, maybe even like just take like a simple little map that you made in Forge and then use that to show off the multiplayer.
Yeah. So there is one thing I'm wondering about that, which is this was like their kind of like reveal of what's coming up. They might not have done that because Halo Infinite had like a time slot it had to fill. They might do a bigger reveal later which is they might skip over campaign or they might just show like little bits of it, but then they might do like the multiplayer part of it and then the Forge part of it. Maybe Firefighter they have it, I don't know, but like in their own like Halo Infinite reveal.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's done some stuff like that sometimes, but
yeah,
it's always been like, oh, here's the stuff that we're working on, and then, later on you're going to see everything about, Super Mario Odyssey or whatever. Like, this one, it did seem like they were really promoting it. It's like, hey, find out what Halo Infinite's going to be, and also some other games.
So, yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if maybe they're, like, gonna put Halo Infinite through, like, its own, like... Well, because it is releasing soonish, it's gonna go through its own marketing cycle.
Yeah.
So, we'll probably see things like Forge and multiplayer further into the year.
Yeah, like
I just wish that they kind of, like, gave us little tidbits of it in, like, their big reveal for Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Xbox's next thing. But, it was... They showed off some things. Some things... a lot of things I actually liked. Some things I didn't like. But I can tell that I'm... like, it's piqued me more... Or not piqued me more. It's gotten me over the Halo 5 slump because I am actually staring at Infinite going, okay, this could be pretty cool. Where before I was just like, I like Halo, but I don't kind of like where it's going. Now I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm warming up to it a bit. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, it's improved for me. It's not the best thing in the world, but it has improved. I'm really looking forward to what their Forge does. That Tom and I don't always get to stay up until fucking 4 a.m. to build a Forge map to play on, like all of our Halo 3 ones, but we do still manage to get some maps in, and the only issue with the Halo 5 one was it just took way too long to do. CG, we just want to sit down in a session, build a map, and then play it. So I'm hoping that we can get back to that point.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, I guess, I've already mocked it a little bit with Halo 5 anyway. What do you think the story, the actual narrative is going to be this time around? Like, I'm asking you kind of because you're more of a lore nut than I am. Like, I have no idea who the Banished are.
Okay. So the Banished was in Halo Wars 2, and they're actually a really fucking cool faction. And Halo Wars 2, actually, it's a pretty fun game. Check it out. I'm actually saying, like, Halo Wars 2 is a fun game. So if you want to do it, like, you'll learn a lot about the Banished. But basically, the Banished they popped up in actually before the Covenant fell, and the leader Atronach, who the big dude at the end was like being like to honor Atronach, founded the Banished because he saw what the Covenant doing was basically wasting lives just because they're like religious zealots, and like they're wasting his people by just throwing them at shit without tactically like thinking things through and how they can reduce casualties. They're just like, just right position, enough bodies, and you'll do it. They're basically oh god, where are those called? The poor little Marines in Warhammer 40k was just like, if you throw enough bodies at a problem, it'll fix it itself.
I don't know why you're asking us.
I know, right? I just realized that you two are the word. I should be asking my boy Wesley for that, but fucking whatever. But anyways, so he rebelled because he survived holo missions, and he was getting pretty popular among like brutes and others. And so when he failed to complete this one objective but still returned, the prophets tried to have him executed. He murdered all the people who were trying to execute him, ran off and formed his own faction. And they were pretty small for a while, and then the Covenant collapsed, and they grew from there because there's a massive power vacuum. So in the Wars 2, basically it's like fight over the Ark, and you're dealing with them in that. And Atronach is a really smart fella for a brute, and pretty interesting character. In this one, or at the end of Halo Wars 2, he basically gets stranded on the Ark. So why everybody else is probably being like to like revenge at Atronach or whatever, they probably just don't realize he's still alive. He's just stuck on the Ark. He's just like, help me, I'm over here. And everybody's like, no, we'll avenge you. No,
But I'm not dead yet. We can
I'm not
wait.
dead yet. So, yeah, so they're basically trying to establish themselves as a force and like grow their power, like what most factions will do, and become like the next big thing. Interestingly enough, there are some humans that, because they're not a religious cult, they actually do allow humans in their ranks. I'm not sure if we'll fight any, but it has been mentioned like in backgrounds, and I think in a book, I can't remember where. But basically they have, or like the resistance, I can't remember their actual name right now because names.
The human one?
Yeah.
The insurrectionists?
Yeah, the insurrectionists have actually gotten support from the Banished over the last few years. Like they've gotten weapons and supplies and stuff like that. So it would be kind of cool if while you're fighting the Banished, you also see like banished humans, which I would actually find to be really fucking interesting, and I am totally down for that. But they're basically, yeah, to just summarize them, they are a faction that was founded because the leader thought that like politicians did not respect the lives of like the soldiers that they're ordering around. And so they're a very warrior focused faction that are trying to establish themselves as like the next big thing. And basically they're trying to control the Halo rings and all this technology because they want to be like the big boys on the block so people can't push them around anymore.
So what is their end game? What is their goal?
Their end game is they want to basically control the rings. They want to control like the Ark and all that, so they can basically, like how Cortana was like, I want to like beat everybody down so like we're on top. The Banished have a similar goal. They want to basically wipe out the UNSC's like higher ranks, because yet again, warriors, they want to wipe out the prophets because they've been abusing their species for so long. They want to take revenge on people who have basically been taking people's lives for granted. Oni. And and make them pay and establish that they're the ones in charge, and basically like, oh, this shit won't happen again, when it probably will happen because politics and scheming bastards will always have this happen. But they're warrior-centric that want to basically how they were in like the Covenant in Halo 1 and Halo 2. They want to be the top dogs, and they don't take kindly to will fight against that notion.
They don't sound that bad.
They don't, which is an interesting choice for a faction because they do have a lot of like good like aspects to them. They are helping the insurrectionists, which do make them a natural enemy of the UNSC and Master Chief, which is probably one reason why they are coming into it. And they do have a really cool style. I really like how the Banished have a lot of like old military gear and like stuff like ghosts and all that, but they're also known to jerry rig shit and just like make stuff like what is the word? When you just like decorate stuff, like fucking slap some skulls and a pointy thing on this thing just because it looks cool.
Mad Max it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're an interesting faction. They have a lot of like good sides to them, but at the same time they are trying to like wipe out the UNSC and especially Oni, because Oni are little assholes that like to kill off entire groups of people just because, they want to be in power. So I'm very interested to see where it goes, because the Banished is a strangely relatable and yet aggressive faction that could be a pretty fun foe to fight. I'm excited to fight them. And like even in the end, it's no longer like we're here to like purify humanity. It was just like, we want to challenge you because you are like the tough, like basically the next stepping stone. We just want to keep on climbing. So like he wants to fight Master Chief, that he's stronger, and he's like that's basically like the climb up the ladder for him. That's his challenge, Everest. So it's a weird change from going from religious purification to like, you are the next challenge. You're basically taking the like player, and like where most games you have this massive villain on like this, you have to level up and go through all this shit to like beat. Instead, you, the player, are literally that big ass badass on the top of the mountain that like murders thousands of people. And this guy's trying to be the protagonist. That's just like, I want to fight you. Like, I will build myself up and beat the shit out of you. So it's a interesting flip, actually. As said, I'm very interested. The Banished is definitely an interesting faction to choose for this kind of fight.
So a question I've got then is, given that info, in the trailer that they showed at the reveal, Master Chief said there won't be a home to return to if we don't stop the Banished. What do you think is happening for that line to be spoken?
So this falls into the whole thing of they sided with the insurrectionists, and Earth is basically the heart of the UNSC. It's why it was so well protected in secret in Halo CE, and 2 it had the whole defense station dealio in that. Seen as, if you take or conquer Earth, then you have basically the UNSC and Oni in another form. Oni is broader, but they are doing all this for Earth and for humanity. Is what a lot drives their incentive. That's why they are so easy to just abuse and do whatever to outer world colonists, but inner world, it's a lot more political for them. So destroy the UNSC and humanity, and then the colonies and all that would get their independence, their freedom, and claim that they have their freedom away from the UNSC is probably what they're going for. Because the insurrectionists want to be complete Earth and deal that blow, that moral blow to the UNSC. They see that as being the way to get free from all of this. So that could be why he's saying there won't be a home to return to, because the Banished and them are literally looking to destroy Earth or fuck it up horribly.
So my next question: what the hell happened to Cortana and her army then?
It's still there. They mention another faction. Nobody knows what the hell that's about. right now the world is very, and like the Banished is still a growing faction, and that is why I think this works so well for them to be it, is because they're not yet the biggest guys in the playing ground. They're still pretty small. And when you have Cortana and toss that in, she took out a large portion of basically everybody. And so she's the big one, but she's making it so now the Banished, who are still a growing factor, they're powerful, but they're not like the biggest guys around, because suddenly the entire or the rest of the UNSC can't help you, and it's only the Infinity. It goes from, if the UNSC were to focus just on the Banished, it would probably be a pretty one-way fight, to now this is an actual even fight.
Well,
which is fun. I still think there's going to be something to do with her, because there's definitely going to be something on this ring. But I don't know. There was an interesting little thing that got pointed out. It was on a video I was watching. I can't remember who. I think I was Dick around. I was watching Halo 5 or Xperia or someone. But they were mentioning how the first, like the initial designer concept of the leader, Atronach. Why did I suddenly forget his name? Anyways, the initial me with names.
you were saying Atronox. I don't know if that's
yes. If I've been saying the wrong fucking name, like ADHD is beautiful. I can't remember names or shit. But the initial design for him was actually a what do they call he was basically somebody who, like, his whole deal was hunting down the big Forerunner dude in 4.
Oh, the Didact?
Yeah, so he was a Didact hunter, was his like initial concept. So I'm not sure what that's going to play into this, but it could also mean that
just googled it. It's not Atronox, it's just Atriox.
Atriox, whatever names. Atriox. But it'd be kind of cool if suddenly you have like the Forerunners and like all their shit, and then you have the Banished as a separate faction. And then if the Flood comes in, that's like a completely different faction, which they probably will. They're supposed to be humanity's like big chat. They're ready for the mantle, so they'll probably be back. And then like USC, so this could literally go into like a 4-way faction like battle. Like this game could literally be like 4 complete different factions, because there is no way in hell the Banished would work with Cortana, because her whole thing is controlling people through force, and like doesn't matter how many lives are lost along the way, you do what you do, which is like the complete opposite of what the Banished stand for. Because they're all about, like, they hated people in control abusing lives and wasting them for their own means. And then Flood doing their own wiggly bullshit in the corner. So this could be like an interesting game with 4 different, or like 3 different factions you have to fight, and mechanically all of them could work very differently. Because the Forerunners definitely have a different style and way you fight them than the Covenant, which is going to be the Banished in this, which have a very different style and like how you fight them to the Flood. So this could be pretty interesting. You could get a real shit show out of this whole thing, and it's one of the reasons why I'm excited for it, because there's a lot of potential for a lot of things to come at head, and you could get some pretty big battles out of it too. It'd be so cool to watch like the Covenant or the Banished like fighting Flood while you're trying to run through the whole like war zone, and fucking like the Prometheans come in and start like duking it out too. Like it could be messy and fun, especially like, oh, I'm excited to see if they do something like that. Is basically what I'm going for. Easy, and they are saying that big battles is something that they're looking in like forward to, or into, not forward to. So yeah, really you could probably count. But I'm excited. And that one up to the amount of times I fucking said I'm excited to see this in that game.
Do you do we know like what happened like the last time when Halo, at least in video game form, when we left everybody, we had Fireteam Osiris, the Chief, the Arbiter, Palmer, and the Crew of the Infinity, I think, all like together. How did we get from that to the Chief floating in space? Do you know?
So that is yet again a few hours into the campaign. And the biggest theory currently is at that point, the Infinity must have taken a lot of damage. Because when they're doing like that little scan, and it was on a trailer or something after, but you see like the Pelican that he and the pilot are in, and they're scanning this little area, and you see like all these little like, oh god, what are they called? Friend or foe tags.
IFFs.
Like all these little, yeah. So all these little tags popped up around the Pelican that they were in, and it was like all UNSC and fucking Oni and all that, and they all showed deceased. So the idea is that at this point, either the Infinity or another ship that the Chief was on got hit and destroyed, and so he was in space because he was just like in the rubble of it, along with the pilot and like all these other people who are just floating in space and died because they don't have a freaking power armor spacesuit on. So I'm not sure the events to play up to it, but we know that they were all there at some point. I know that Blue Team went to Reach. Did the book release? I don't know. There's a book, the Blue Team going to Reach to find something. So they have and doing their own missions between like Osiris and Blue Team and all that. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm just curious if we're gonna see. We technically got an Arbiter and the Chief reunion, but they didn't say or do anything.
There are apparently going to be some missions where both the Arbiter and the Chief are together in them, so I'm excited for that.
Well, that's good. That was something in 5. It was kind of building up to,
and then
like,
it didn't.
And then when they were finally in the same room together, they don't even like look at each other.
I know.
And then it ends.
Yeah. So yeah. So hopefully they do better this time. Like my idea is that you'll probably have some missions, and like Fireteam Osiris will like be toying around with you. Like player 2 will probably be able to play as like who was the cap? The guy who you played as in Fireteam Osiris, he was so forgettable.
Locke. Yeah,
Locke. Okay, so like you might be able to play like player 2 might play as like Locke on a mission or two, or he could just be like player 3 or player 4. Yeah, it'd actually be pretty neat if you had like the Chief as player 1, the Arbiter as player 2, like Locke as player 3, and then someone else as player 4. That could be neat.
Johnson. He'd have to come back to life.
It'd have to be Nathan Fillion because it'd have to be Buck because Buck is awesome.
I don't think it would be.
I
think it'd probably be Vale because I think Laura Bailey would be cheaper to come back than Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, for your question, what happened to the others? They're probably doing their own shit. Is basically I'm going to state. You know, that Master Chief got stranded because his ship blew up or something that he was on. Where are the others? Probably either dicking around the ring or floating around in space themselves, or maybe the Infinity escaped. Maybe it didn't. Who knows?
I like picturing like they're the pilot and the Chief like renew like comm channels or something, and the Chief's like speaks to the Arbiter. He's like, "Arbiter, where have you been?" "Oh, just dicking around."
We'll laugh.
I've got your army here. We've just been dicking around.
Hang on this planet. It's a nice beach. Got tan. Comes in and it's not a tan, it's a sunburn. The Arbiter's just fucking red under his armor. Just like, what the fuck happened to you? I'd love it. I'd support it. 10 out of 10.
343. Give the Arbiter a sunburn.
Yes. Let Chief slap it so it makes like that weird line so you can see his hand.
Oh God.
That would hurt from a Spartan.
I just imagine the Arbiter like screaming like he did in Halo 2 when he gets like the what's that called? Branded.
Yeah, the branding just like ah!
Chief, look, I'm tanned.
For a full 20 seconds.
So I think that just about covers everything.
Yay.
Yeah, I think so.
Rob, did you have any questions for Halo veterans that we haven't already
Did
said?
my lore rambling make sense? Because I ramble a fuck ton. There are times I was talking, I'm just like, I already stated dating this again.
I mean, there was a lot of words in there that I had never heard before because I have
That's
no
fair.
knowledge about the lore of Halo.
I don't even know what I say half the time, and I'm the one saying it. God, I just hope that the old shotgun is still in, like the fucking new shotgun looks like it's so like long range shotgun, like a Halo 1 shotgun. They could do like the old classic shotgun and just make it like super close range. I'd just be happy. I'd be chill with that. That'd be great.
Well, I think that covers everything.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh, you know what? We never did our usual. What have we been playing this week thing?
No.
Oh yeah. Well, you and I had that mini podcast in that thing that drove us insane.
And that thing that won't air for another month or two.
You still like. I don't care how long it takes for you to upload that. It better be like a 2-hour special.
Oh, it's gonna be one episode.
No good.
It took us like 2 hours to beat that fucking boss. I'm just gonna leave it as one fucking episode.
Oh, awesome. We got so fat, like we sounded so demoralized that I think like in the like 3/4 of the way through, I was just like, do you know what? We're doing a podcast. This is just fucking like our podcast time. So
context for those who might be listening. I think I already talked about it with Rob, but on the channel currently, if you are watching the series, I recommend it. Nathan and I are playing through the original Halo trilogy on Cooperative Legendary. Even though I think episode
you just released the one when we just started the Banshee level, flying up and disabling everything.
What episode number was that?
I literally just watched it. That's not the link. I think it's like 7.
Okay, so like 7 or 8 or something episode of Halo 1 just aired. But Nathan and I are already into Halo 2 in real time, and Halo 2 Legendary is kicking our ass. I felt
how we were always like, hey, are we sure we put it on Legendary? Well, guess what? We put it on Legendary.
Yeah,
it's level 7 that we just did. Existential dreams. Oh, that was my dream. Okay, never mind.
So yeah, that was the profit of regret. But we'll if anybody wants to watch a 2-hour episode of that, you can wait till that airs. I don't know when it'll be. It'll probably be like a month from now or something.
I know the meme is you beat up an old man in a wheelchair, but that old man in a wheelchair was kicking our ass for a good 2 hours straight.
Oh,
I still like cry a little. But I'm ready to do it again. Let's do it again. I'm fucking ready for that level to be over.
So let's start with Rob. What have you played any games lately?
No. Yeah. Obviously, Burnout Paradise Remastered came out on the Switch.
Yeah.
I guess it's about a month ago now, but I've been playing that. The other big one I've been playing is In Other Waters, which I was very excited to get to.
What is that?
I posted about it on Twitter a while ago. Basically, okay, well, whatever.
Is that the scuba diving one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like the main character, I guess, is this like an extraterrestrial marine biologist. Like in the sense that she goes to other planets in search of like alien life.
Oh,
But you don't technically play as her. You play as the AI in her dive suit.
Huh.
And so, like, you guide her to points of interest. You, like, analyze the life that you're finding on this planet while trying to solve the mystery of what happened to, like, her sort of scientific mentor. And, like, it's like, super atmospheric. I'm really getting into it. It's really cool.
Sounds cool.
what about you, Nathan?
I mean, we played Halo 2.
Spoilers.
Jeez. What else have I been playing? I've been playing Don't Starve Together again, which is a good game. They recently had a update which adds in like sailing and all this stuff, so I'm going to get into all that. More Total War Warhammer 2 is a good game. I keep on going back to it. Emperor at War. The Yuzhan Vong War team is teasing me so hard with a release thing. I am so ready for it. Please, Daddy, please give it to me. I've been getting oddly back into Gary's mod. It's a really fun, just like I'm gonna sit like no real goal. I just want to sit around, pop up a game that you can like play little mini games or do whatever on, and just go at it. And then I'm prepping myself for my yearly anal probing. So I'm probably going to be starting that next week. And start with...
You completely cut out on this, and after you said your yearly...
Yeah.
It was just my yearly... So I'm getting started on that.
Thank you, Discord. My yearly Half-Life run.
Oh,
okay.
So every year I start from Half-Life.
Wait, Nathan, do me a favor. Do me a favor. I just want a soundbite of you saying anal probing. Anal
probing.
I'm gonna put that in that silence earlier.
Hey kiddies, you want to play some anal probing? Yeah, so I start with Half-Life. Half-Life Absolute Zero was it's apparently a mod that is the concept of Half-Life when it was like the concept for it. So that's one that released recently, and I'm going to play that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it after my Half-Life run, and then the mod, and then I'll do Blue Shift Opposing Force, go on to Half-Life 2, Episode 1, Episode 2. Then I am hoping, fingers crossed, by the time I finish that, because I tend to take my time with these games, I'll have my computer upgraded and I'll have a VR system to do Half-Life Alyx. That is my like ultimate goal. I'm so close. But yeah, so starting it soon. When's like I'm basically like compiling 5 months worth of rent before I buy it, just because I want to have that backup.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm gonna start saving up for my computer, and then I'll get VR, play Half-Life Alyx after all my other Half-Lives are done. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Yeah. I haven't really been playing a singular game. The other day I was playing Tokyo Extreme Racer and Soul Calibur 1 and Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer on my Dreamcast.
Oh, so good.
And just a few days ago, well, I guess it was not a few days ago, it was yesterday, I had my N64 hooked up. So I played some Smash Brothers and World Is Not Enough. And right now my office is what I call it, our little recording studio. It's technically in shambles right now with games littered everywhere because I bought a new display cabinet for my games. So I had to pull everything off of the old one and just threw it on the floor, and I've been organizing them as I put them on the new cabinet. So like Let's play a quick little game. Well, and you know what? We don't have a camera, so I can't really prove it. But I was gonna say, you guys name a game, and I'll see if I can just grab it. But
no camera.
Yeah, no camera, so there's no proof that I can actually do it. But my games are all over my floor right next to me right now. But those,
I'll be super sad if you step on Nightfire and break it. I'll like murder you. Just saying.
No.
Fucking love that game.
I think the only other thing I was playing ODST Firefight again the other day. I like ODST.
You were doing that for when we were warming up.
Yeah, I like ODST's Firefight better than Reach's personally, but that might just be because I like Halo 3 better than Reach. But
I still like how prepping for that recording session, I forgot that there were updates. And so we had to wait for an hour and a half for a Halo 2 game. I just watched him play the Halo 3 ODST Firefight. Which that's a game you've been playing recently, Tom. You played Halo 2.
Yeah, but I try to not just cop out and say like what's on the channel.
That's fair.
Because otherwise I could just say, oh, lately I've been playing Bloodborne, Golden Sun, and Halo. Fuck you. Watch the channel, pleb.
Do it? Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, there was... Fuck, I've already forgotten the name. There's a game that just came out on the Switch. I was talking to Rob about it the other day that I really want to get. It's like a mech platformer action game.
Oh, Panzer Paladin.
Panzer Paladin, yeah, I want to get that. That looks good. That one and
funky.
I think it's called Crosscode.
Yeah.
Crosscode
sounds pretty cool.
Wasn't there like a World War II mech game, Iron Harvest or something? That looked interesting.
Oh, I think you're thinking of Into the Breach. No.
Into the Breach isn't like World War II.
No.
Although I have heard it's good.
Yeah, no, Iron Harvest. Here, let me... It has a really cool aesthetic. It's like, I don't know if it's like World War I or World War II.
Maybe it's
like
90s.
But it's basically like that with mechs. Well, can I just get the picture, please? Computer? Thank you. Here, I'll post a picture or two. I think it's World War I. But it's like you got like these cool.
Oh, it's like steampunk.
Not quite steampunk. Steampunk is like turn of the century. I guess it's like a little bit steampunk actually. I'm just finding pictures.
It's diesel punk.
Yeah, closer to that. But it looks like a really cool game. I wanna give a try.
So is it like a strategy game or?
Yeah, so
okay.
It's like a little command game from what I've seen. So like you have your little units. Think like BattleTech, but you're not just controlling mechs.
Okay. The only BattleTech I've ever played is the Genesis one, where you're just one mech.
Yeah, boy!
Was that about the screenshot or just BattleTech?
I love the BattleTech game on the Genesis.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I'm really bad at it.
Have you ever played have you ever played 2-player?
No.
Oh,
the way that they do it is interesting.
Yeah, one person's the legs and the other person's the guns. It's so good.
That sounds fancy. I like it. I've been playing like I have to actually get back into it. It's a game that I played and then I got so distracted by side shit they do that I just forgot to continue playing the game until I got bored of it. But the more recent one where you control like a squad of 4, the BattleTech on that is also a very fun one. Also, you should definitely look at like the Iron Harvest Steam page because I think it's the second one in, but like the video they make it like look very World War I. Like you got like the black and white, slightly grainy, like soldiers just in like a bombed out like street playing the piano, but there's also just mechs. It's really cool to look at. Yeah, it's a command game. Should definitely do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'll do it for this podcast. This was another long one, but I knew it would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I ramble. you and I just ramble, so that makes them long when we're together.
Nothing. No one
Rob's thoughts are too organized to ramble. He knows exactly what he's going to say, and what he doesn't, he just goes, "I don't know, man."
I mean, it helps. There's a lot of things that I just don't know.
Yeah. No, call yourself efficient. Because Tom and I don't know anything. We go, well, we don't know, but it could be this. And it's like, okay.
Okay.
I was
Well,
like, nah, bro.
thanks for listening. If you stuck around to the end, I guess we can plug. If you don't watch our Let's Plays, we're playing Bloodborne, Golden Sun, and Halo, so you can go check that out.
Halo Legendary run. It's fun.
Fuck. Halo Legendary was so fun until Halo 2. It's fun in like I want to kill myself kind of fucking fun.
Halo 2 is still fun. Halo 2 fun though, it's just like a can I die now kind of fun.
It's the 2020 of games.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, 2020. I think we should just put up the tree, count down to midnight, and say, you know what? It's January 1st. Happy 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, that means this is all going to stretch over 2 years.
Damn it, Rob! Stop killing my dreams.
Logical.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Later.